was riding on the Mayflower when I thought I spied some land. I yelled to Captain Arab, I hope you'll understand. Who came running down the deck and said, boys, forget the whale. They're going over yonder, cut the engines, change the sails. Haul down that bow line, we sang that melody like all tough sailors do when they're far away at sea. I think I'll call it America, I said as we hit land. I took a deep breath, I fell down, I could not stand. Captain Arab, he started writing out some deeds. He said, let's build us a fort and start buying the place with beads. Just then a cop came down the street crazy as a loon and froze us all in jail for carrying harpoons. Well, me, I busted out, don't even ask me how. I went and get some help, I walked by a Jersey cow who directed me down to the Bowerly slums where people carried signs around saying ban the bums. I realized right away and said I hope that I'm not late when I realized I haven't eaten for 5 days straight. I went into a restaurant looking for the cook. I told him I was the editor of some famous etiquette book. The waitress, he was handsome, he wore a powder blue cape. I ordered some Suzette, I said, could you please make that crepe? Just then the whole kitchen exploded from boiling fat. Food was flying everywhere and I left without my hat. Now I didn't mean to be nosy, but I went into a bank to get some bill for Arab and all the boys back in the tank. They asked me for collateral and I pulled down my pants. They threw me in the alley when comes up this girl from France who invited me to her house. I went and she had a friend who knocked me out and robbed my boots and I was on the street again. Well, I rapped upon a house with a US flag on display. I said, could you please help me out? I got some friends on down the way. The man said, get out of here and I'll tear you limb from limb. I said, you know they refused Jesus too. He said, you're not him. Get out of here before I break your bones. I ain't your pop. I decided to have him arrested and I went looking for a cop. Well, I ran outside and I hopped inside a cab. I went out the other door and this Englishman said fab. He saw me leave a hot dog stand and a chariot that stood parked across from a building advertising brotherhood. I ran right through the front door like a hobo sailor does. But it was just a funeral parlor and the man asked me who I was. I repeated that my friends were all in jail with a sigh. He gave me his card, he said, call me if I die. I shook his hand and said goodbye and ran out to the street when a bowling ball came down the road and knocked me off my feet. A payphone was ringing and it just about blew my mind. When I picked it up and said hello, a foot came through the line. By this time I was fed up at trying to make a stand, at bringing back my friends and Captain Arab. I decided to flip a coin like either heads or tails that let me know if I should go back to the ship or back to jail. I hooked a sailor suit and I got that coin to flip. If it came up tails or on my sails, I made her back to the ship. Well, I got back and took the talking ticket off the mast. I was ripping it to shreds. This Coast Guard can pass. They asked me for my name. I said I was Captain Kidd. They believed me, but they wanted to know exactly what I did. I said for the Pope of the Rook I was employed. They let me go right away. They were very paranoid. Well, the last I heard of Arab, he was stuck on a whale that was married to the deputy sheriff of the Vale. But the funniest thing was when he was leaving the bay, 3 ships a sailing, they were all heading my way. I asked the captain if his name was, and I can drive a truck, and he said his name was Columbus, and I just said, good luck.